The win in Golden State suggests that the Lakers really need Jarred Vanderbilt. Scribes are now suggesting the Dodgers are looking to upgrade the bullpen and has Mick Cronin finally connected with the freshman of UCLA basketball. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is January 29th, 2024. In a couple of hours, I'm going to be on a plane heading back home to my wife and her blouse of the blessed abundance. And in the meantime, let's give an abundance of LA sports news. If you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. You know I look forward to hearing from you. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Kings lose once again. 14 times in 16 games. There is a reason that there is a movement of fans asking the Kings to fire Coach Todd McClellan. It doesn't matter that they lost in overtime, which they did yesterday to the St. Louis Blues 4-3. 14 losses in 16 games is a ton. Meanwhile, today, the Lakers are in Houston. That game will be at 5. And the Clippers are in Cleveland. That game is at 4. But let's get right to the news. And we're going to start with the Lakers. Now, I don't often buy into this game is a turning point for the whole season storyline. Scribes, though, are writing that as a result of the Lakers edging Golden State in double overtime on Saturday. I wouldn't go that far because it's one game out of 82. What I will say, though, is that it is very possible that the Lakers have started to figure out the types of lineups that they need to compete. And in particular, I think Jarred Vanderbilt is starting to assert himself after missing much of the season. He was supposed to start from the beginning of the season on, but because there was a heel injury, that kept him out of action for 2 months. As a result, the Lakers turned to Taurean Prince to take over the starting role. And frankly, they like him, but he's not making a winning edge level of impact. For example, take a look at Saturday's game in terms of plus minus, which is a stat often used in NHL. When this person is on the court, or in hockey's case, obviously on the ice, how many points does your team score compared to the opponent? When Jarred Vanderbilt was on the court for Saturday's game, the Lakers scored 30 more points than Golden State. But with Taurean Prince on the floor, the Lakers were outscored by 22. So in other words, we can fudge numbers this, that, and the other, and I do realize that plus minus isn't exactly the be-all, end-all of stats. Even I mentioned it's a hockey stat, right? Hockey fans, hockey players, hockey coaches do not rely on plus minus. And yet, Vanderbilt's stats, not just a plus minus, tend to be superior to that of Taurean Prince. So for the winner's edge, it seems to me that Jarred Vanderbilt needs to be back in the starting lineup on a regular basis. We've obviously been talking a lot about potential Laker deals in advance of the trade deadline, which is coming up in about 2 weeks. Gabe Vincent has not been the backcourt upgrade that the Lakers had counted on before the season. And that too will impact the trade deadline, as you'll see as we continue to explain this. The idea was that if Gabe Vincent could push D'Angelo Russell from the beginning of the season on, maybe that makes Russell more valuable in the trade market, right? So therefore, you could theoretically, if you're the Lakers, trade Russell for a 3-and-D guy. And then you would have Gabriel Vincent step in as a playmaking point guard. The problem is Vincent has only played in 5 games this season due to a number of injuries. The guy also had arthroscopic surgery to his left knee. So what is the result of all the problems that have arisen due to the fact that Gabe Vincent isn't healthy? Well, the LA Times polled executives in the NBA to rank the trade assets of both LA NBA teams. 2 Clippers second round draft picks, second round, are deemed more valuable than Gabe Vincent. As they like to say on social media, let that sink in. Gabe Vincent started for a Miami team that went to the finals last year. And execs think he is less valuable than 2 second round draft picks. They think he's less valuable than Max Christie. They think he's less valuable than Jalen Hood-Schifino, than Rui Hachimura. So this is a massive monkey wrench thrown into the Lakers' trade deadline plans, wouldn't you say? I mean, 2 days ago, when we were talking again about the Lakers at the trade deadline, we mentioned that trading D'Angelo Russell only creates another problem. If you trade him for another guard, there aren't too many guards available that are significantly better. You might find one who's better on defense. A couple of days ago, we were mentioning the idea that it would be, like, for example, guards available, Malcolm Brogdon, Tyus Jones, Spencer Dinwiddie, would all be downgrades, right? On the other hand, if you're thinking about DeJounte Murray, he doesn't score as well as D'Angelo Russell, better defender. So maybe you get a trade up in terms of defense, but you're not solving the problem of the 3-and-D guy, and you're potentially creating another problem in the backcourt. That, by the way, if you really want to know why you're hearing the name Dennis Schroeder bandied about again, that would be why. The idea that maybe you could sign, you can get Dennis Schroeder ultra cheap in the trade market, have him be your playmaking point guard, and trade D'Angelo Russell for a better 3-and-D option. So again, Gabriel Vincent, and I hate to say it because I don't want to clown the guy, injuries happen. It's tough luck. But a tough luck injury to Gabe Vincent has thrown a major wrench into the Lakers' plans. I mentioned earlier I'm flying home today, and for those of you who have been watching the program, you know when I am broadcasting from the home base, the home office, I normally have a whiteboard behind me with all these names of trade rumors for both the Lakers and the Dodgers. I'll be having another name to add to the Lakers trade list, the idiot scribe rumor mill. ESPN is claiming that the Lakers desire Miles Bridges of Charlotte. Now, to be frank, I don't buy that for one moment. The contract money just does not add up. And by the way, Miles Bridges will be a free agent in the summer. So if you put all the names together that we've compiled for potential Laker trade targets, all these crazy hot rumors that you're hearing about, you have 18 players linked with the Lakers so far. 18. There's no way that happens. And as I'm constantly telling you guys on this channel, do not believe, oh, it's a hot trade rumor. Who says no to this? Common sense says no to this. That's why, even if it's ESPN. Ken Rosenthal, the bow tie guy from Fox Sports, he is saying the Dodgers are now focusing on adding a high-value reliever. He threw out 2 names. One would be free agent Ryan Brazier, who pitched for LA last year, or trading with Boston for Kenley Jansen. Now, we all know what Jansen can do. He pitched in LA for many years. Brazier was signed to a minor league contract last year. He wound up posting an ERA of 0.70 and struck out 38 batters in 38 2/3 innings. Now, John Heyman of the New York Post is saying that the Yankees are also looking at him as well. The reason I'm not sold on him returning to the Dodgers is he was signed to a minor league contract last year. And the Dodgers tinkered with his windup, they tinkered with his delivery, and all of a sudden he was lights out. So, if I'm the Dodgers, it wouldn't surprise me to sit there and go, well, if I did it with this guy who Who's to say I can't do it with that guy on the super cheap, or that guy, etc., and potentially save a little in terms of payroll for a future deal? The name Kike Hernandez has been rising up. If you are wondering if the Dodgers would like to bring back utility man Kike Hernandez, I'm skeptical. But what I can tell you is that Rosenthal is saying that the Angels are allegedly going to make a push for the guy. So back in Dodger blue, no. Staying in Southern California? Probably. UCLA basketball coach Mick Cronin told the LA Times, "We'll see if the Bruins turned a corner after beating down USC on Saturday afternoon." And I can't say that I blame him for saying we'll see. Look, UCLA is still under 500. The odds of them reaching the NCAA tournament, their best shot is winning the Pac-12 tournament outright, because they've really been stinking up the joint until the last couple of weeks. Now, Cronin did add, quote, "There was a stretch where they were losing their confidence and they were feeling the pressure of playing at UCLA," unquote. Cronin said a big part of solving that pressure, reducing the strain, was to eliminate what people were saying about them. Which is fine. It is. Makes a lot of sense. But can I read something else into that quote for you guys? And if you think I'm wrong, by all means, let me know. Is it possible that also meant that the players had to ignore what Mick Cronin was saying about them to the press? Because he was talking a lot of crap about them a few weeks ago. You remember? Cronin actually insinuated that his players were stupid. He could have lost the entire locker room when he did that. So in other words, is Cronin basically saying, I'll stop calling you guys idiots in public if you at least listen to me in practice? Is that a possibility? I'm not saying I know. I'm not watching UCLA basketball practice. I'm not that privy to it. But has anybody else noticed that in public, Mick Cronin is regaining his cool after blowing his top repeatedly at the beginning of the Pac-12 regular season? Have you? If you've wondered why, by the way, I don't talk nearly as much UCLA basketball as I used to, it's not simply because they're struggling or have struggled. We anticipated before the year that the Bruins were going to struggle. They have 7 freshmen on the roster, for Pete's sake. The reason that I don't talk as much about UCLA basketball as I used to is because I can't pronounce their names. They combed all over Europe for young basketball players from all these random countries. I can't pronounce it. Like, for example, freshman power forward Burke Boyutensel, and I probably blew that name out of the water. Boyutensel. And if you know the guy, feel free to apologize for me. Burke Boyutensel missed Saturday's game with an injured wrist. UCLA hopes that he'll be back in time to play this week. The Rams are allegedly interviewing Baltimore defensive back coach Denard Wilson for defensive coordinator. This is according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Now, the reason that I say that they are allegedly going to interview Wilson is, didn't the Ravens play yesterday? Right? Something about a game with the Super Bowl on the line? Would you really just go straight out of the locker room after that game, pick up your cell, and ask Sean McVay for another job? Really? Seems weird. But Wilson would be an interesting choice, and here's why. Consider that he was previously on the Rams coaching staff with Jeff Fisher. He coached with Jeff Fisher's staff, and then McVay replaced Fisher when Fisher got fired. And McVay decided not to keep Wilson. Go figure. But now he may actually be in the Rams' plans. Here's an oddity, by the way. Former Chargers offensive coordinator Kellen Moore is heading to Philly. But new Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh wants to interview the Eagles' senior offensive assistant Marcus Brady for the offensive coordinator job that Moore left behind. Now, this is according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Do you believe that the Lakers have in fact turned a corner with that big victory in double overtime in Golden State? Do you actually believe that the Dodgers are targeting bullpen upgrades, or that UCLA basketball has turned a corner? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.